When you're in these situations where you feel disconnected, whether the disconnection is physical, you're not feeling a lot of sensation, you're not getting circulation, think about how you can repair connection in your life, how you can practice a mind-body connection, being present, how you can maybe get more engaged in a situation. And usually it just comes to being noticing what's happening in your head. What is happening in your head when you're feeling disconnected? What's happening in your head when you're not getting the physical result of arousal? What's happening in your head when you are feeling dissatisfied or you're feeling like complaining? Like, what kind of thoughts lead up to that? And even to get to the point of noticing your thoughts, it takes a bit of mindfulness. It takes some meditation probably, because if you're in it and you have a busy mind, you're in it and you think you are it. You're caught up in the stream, so you don't realize that you can step outside, sit on a rock and watch the stream go by and notice what kind of fish are in those streams. Notice what kind of things are floating by. That is the difference with mindfulness and being just caught up in your thoughts. You have to be able to separate yourself.
Welcome to Garnered Growth. Welcome to Garnered Growth.
What's up, fam? Welcome to another episode of Garnered Growth. There's Cora. I knew she wasn't going to stay there long. We're going to talk about mindfulness and sex today. How those two things go together. I have been doing a lot of my video content around those two subjects coming together. And so I want to really dive deeper into why those two things are necessary and how I feel like, this is my theory, that mindfulness can really fix majority of your sexual disconnection issues, any of our disconnection issues, because mindfulness really is about improving connection, your connection to yourself, to each other, to your body. So we're really going to talk about that. And then at the end of this episode, I'm going to give you some things that you can try at home with yourself or with your partner. And then I want you to let me know in the comments any questions that come up for you and or any comments, that you just want to make about the video in general, because the comments really give me a lot of good feedback. So it helps me to increase my, improve my content based off of like what the conversation is. So wait for us to have conversations. So thank you for joining it. But mindfulness is something I've been doing since 2016. And I got into it from being in a relationship that I was lacking connection in. And also at the same time, like my mind was just overstimulated. I was a nurse. I was working a lot of hours. And I had just been raised off of busyness, like ultimate busyness. Like you don't sit down, you just keep going, right? Like every day I'd wear myself out to go to sleep. And I thought that was like the goal of each day. And so when I came upon this opportunity to learn about meditation, learn about mindfulness, learn about Tantra, I took it because I'm like, not only is it going to help me with my relationship, but it's also going to help me with my mental health, which was getting out of hand to the point where I couldn't sleep. And when I went through all this, I learned all these things. At the end of it, like the thing that stuck with me the most was the mindfulness aspect. And I kept growing and developing in that and trying it in different areas of my life. So I want to share what I've done as far as how it's helped me, and then hopefully inspire you to do the same in your own way, because there's just so many different avenues. I even tell people who are athletes, who do sports, that is a form of mindfulness, because you're using your mind and your body together in sync. That generates a connection, right? Versus many times we are somewhere in our heads, our body's here, but our heads are somewhere else. Our mind is somewhere else. We can be with people that we want to connect with. We could be in an intimate situation, but our mind is somewhere else. And mindfulness is a way for you to practice staying together with your mind and your body. Practice keeping them all together as one. And when you do that, that's when you feel peace. That's ultimate peace. Like, have you ever taken a hike in the forest and you just feel so at peace? You hear the birds, you feel the breeze, you smell the air. Like all your senses are in that moment experiencing the same thing. It's not like your body's there hiking and your mind is somewhere thinking about the dishes or the conversation you had at the office, which happens, right? You be doing that. We all do it. So this is a way for us to, for you to be aware of that and be like, I want more peace in my life. And you don't realize that is that simple. Just practice it in little ways. It don't have to be sitting down for meditation, like, an hour a day. That's not even really realistic if you're going from zero. If you haven't been meditating at all, do not overpromise yourself and set yourself up for failure by saying, I'm going to start meditating an hour a day. Like, that's bullshit. You're not going to do that. But what you can do is you can be sitting, wake up in your bed before you get up. And you can sit there and you can take 5 deep breaths. You can take 10 deep breaths. You can sit there and just lay and feel your body in the bed. You can take a moment at the grocery store. Most times we're on our phone. I like to just sit in the grocery store line and take a few deep breaths. Or if there's somebody that has an interesting conversation, I really like zone into that. And I mean, some people call it being nosy, but I call it mindfulness. But yeah, if you ever like heard a conversation and you just like start listening and it's almost like you're in the conversation, I do that. Yeah, it's nice. I love people watching. But it's calming for me too, because I'm really in that moment. I'm doing that one thing. So one-mindedness is a form of relaxation. And I hope that you find a way, in the ways that you probably already have some things that you do, you just don't label it as such. But how do you find it relaxing? Like when you're just doing one thing, what is that thing that you be doing where you just like zoned in and you forget about everything else? Time seems to pass by differently and you are not worried about nothing and you just feel at peace. You feel grounded. So we all have something. If not, if you're seeking it, it's going to come to you. So mindfulness and sex. One of the major things that I dealt with that got me into mindfulness was disassociation. So when you're in your body or you're not in your body's there and you're in an intimate situation and your mind is somewhere else. You might be actually worried about the situation you're in, like overthinking it. Am I doing this right? Making excessive noises to prove a point. All that is a form of disassociation. And you probably didn't think about that, right? When you're just sitting there like hooting and hollering, acting like this person is giving you like the time of your life and really you barely feel anything. That's not real, right? You're not even really feeling what they're doing. And what I've learned is if you do breathe, you do get into your body, mentally get into your body, like what's actually happening, you can feel more. And we often don't feel, not because that person's not doing enough, we don't feel because we're not paying attention enough. And when you focus your mental attention on exactly what's happening and you're mindful of the moment, meaning like your mind is full of the moment, your mind is not here, fragmented here, thinking about other things, it's full of this moment. That's kind of how I think of it. And you'll feel a lot more. Not to say that it'll be amazing, but you'll feel it at least. You'll be engaged in the actual situation. And this goes for anybody, male body, female bodies, anybody. When you are present in your body and you practice being present and connected to your body, you'll just feel a lot more. And it comes down to like, there's this word that people are using a lot, like aura, right? It's a trendy word. So your aura is like the illumination of the energy that's radiating from your body. So if I am angry, the energy of anger emanating from my body is that's going to be an aura, right? And that aura is going to be different than if I was really happy and joyful. The energy emanating from my body that's happy and joy is going to look different than the angry light, right? So that's aura. And that is a subtler form of energy than, let's say, the emotional energy of anger. When I say that, you can feel it. You know what I mean when I say angry. You know what I mean when I say happy. It's a feeling that you can connect with. But on a more subtler plane, we have the visual of it, the sense of it. So some people can see auras. You can see light emanating from your body. There's actually a way, I did a video of it. It's back in the archives. If you look on my YouTube, of how to be able to see aura using your hand in sunlight. But there's physical, that's very easy to feel. Physical touch, right? It's solid matter or solid-ish, if you're into quantum physics like I am. And then there's energy, right? Like there's the emotional energy that we can feel. And then there's more subtle energy that we can sense. And in order to sense more of that subtle energy, you have to really pay attention. So we have layers, right? We have levels. We have the physical, really easy to feel that. I hit you, you feel it, right? Then we have our emotional things, which we can feel energetically. And then we have our subtle things, our subtle senses. So I can sense that you're upset, right? I can't feel it, like it's not a physical feeling that I have, but actually it is on a more subtle level, right? But I can sense it. And so these are like different words to describe feeling on different levels, basically. And when you practice mindfulness, you are learning to feel more subtle sensations. And that's really all it comes down to. So naturally, we have the ability to connect mentally, right? Like ESP, telepathically, especially when you have a relationship with somebody or your kids, you can kind of, you know what they're thinking, right? You might even be able to see what they're thinking on their face, or you know how they're feeling just from them being in your presence. So those are ways that we communicate without having to use our words, without having to express it explicitly. And mindfulness allows you to do that with people that you haven't been around for years, that you don't have this intimate connection with, but it's just the ability for you to sense things that were not detectable before. And that's how I look at the chakra system. So chakra system, another thing that is trendy, but I don't feel is super understood by the masses because we don't teach it, to the masses. It's either you got to go seeking it, right? But I'm a nurse, so I know about anatomy, right? The physical organs of the body, the circulatory system. That circulates our blood, right? That's our physical thing. We can see that. We see the results of it. We have tests that can see blood moving through, our body. It's detectable. Then on a more subtle level, we have our energy, right? So even before that, let's go. So we have blood vessels, right? And we got capillaries. Capillaries are super tiny. So that's like what makes your fingertip go white when you press on it, because you're stopping the circulation in your capillaries, right? So even more subtle than that is your energy, your meridians, just your energy channels. So those are carrying subtle energy. Those we cannot see. We don't have tests for that, And because we don't have tests for that, we kind of don't acknowledge it. And that's just a matter of technology. We'll have it for sure. I mean, I think that they already have things that are available that can see meridians and things like that. But things like acupuncture, it acknowledges it and it actually works with that system. So your meridians are a legit body system, and beyond body, a legit being system, right? So not even like physical matter, but those things are subtle. And the more that you work on the subtler planes, the more they become detectable to you. And when it comes to like dealing with our body, connecting with our body, sensations, connecting with other people's bodies, the more that you practice being present and getting rid of all the distractions and being engaged in the experience, you'll notice more and more subtle things, including things that feel good to you. So that numbness that I used to feel in my body, that lack of, pleasure, that lack of feeling satisfied, a majority of that, a lot of that was due to me being disassociated and not being able to feel what was going on and engage in it so that it can actually work up to something that was worthwhile, right? That's why I'm always connecting mindfulness and sex together, because I know that a lot of it does have to do with disconnection. And when you learn how to strengthen all those connections, like when the wires are actually carrying the right signals straight through, then you're able to get the information, right? I think of it like a cord. So you have this cord, you plug it in, it carries energy. So let's say we not cut that cord all the way, but we snip at it, right? We take off that layer, the sheath that protects the circuit, protects the flow of the energy through the wires. So we cut that. You're gonna now have a short in your cord. And I know anybody's had this, like a toaster or something. You have a short in your cord. So what does that short mean? It means that it's like, as energy is flowing through that cord, it's like crackling, it's not going straight through, and it's not able to fully power the machine that you're trying to get working, right? And that's exactly how we are. We have all these wires running through us, these cords, and whether through our experiences, through trauma for sure, this is a thing that damages our circuitry, through experiences and learned behaviors, Another thing that damages our ability to carry the information and receive signals. Like we end up feeling disconnected and you don't know why, you don't know how, it just is. And by working directly with that circuitry and strengthening your connections, sealing up those gaps, right? Repairing those tears in your channels. That's how you're going to be able to carry all that information, carry more energy in your body. If you feel drained, you feel tired, it might be because you have some injuries or some snips on your cords, on your wires. So all that energy is not getting through. It's leaking out somewhere. It's being dispersed instead of you carrying it all through your system. So when you have those kinds of issues, again, you can repair that. And it just takes having something in your life that remedies the damage that has been done versus thinking of it as I got to fix this problem. I have to work on this. It can feel daunting. It can feel like a lot of work, and it has a negative connotation, right? Because now you feel like you're always working. Like I do personal growth content, y'all. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to grow. Like intentionally, I get sick of growing or talking about, I'm always coming up with solutions. So that's how I make my content, right? I come up with solutions. So sometimes I get sick of being solution oriented and I just want to be mentally, right? But because I do it so often, my mind gets used to coming up with solutions for everything. Even as a nurse, okay, you have this cut or you have this bed sore, I automatically have a solution for that. You have high blood pressure, I'm already thinking of all these solutions for that, right? Because that's what we do is we provide treatments for illnesses, for problems. And so you get into the solution-oriented mindset and it tires you out sometimes. You're like, no, I just want to be trifling and have fun. So I have to remind myself of that sometimes, to just have a weekend and not worry about being intentionally growing. And that even by having fun and being at ease is growth. Because I'm growing into relaxation. I'm growing into being more present in myself in the moment without thinking of a solution for something. So it's really like this, ebb and flow of life that is always going to be going on. There's never going to be okay, I found the solution. Now we'll just stay on this path and it's going to be, straightforward from here on out. Like, no, that's not how life works. So sometimes I just get sick of growing, just sideline. So when you're in these situations where you feel disconnected, whether the disconnection is physical, you're not feeling a lot of sensation, you're not getting circulation, think about how you can repair connection in your life, how you can practice a mind-body connection, being present, how you can maybe get more engaged in that situation. And usually it just comes to being noticing what's happening in your head. What is happening in your head when you're feeling disconnected? What's happening in your head when you're not getting the physical results of arousal? What's happening in your head when you are feeling dissatisfied or you're feeling like complaining? Like, what kind of thoughts lead up to that? And even to get to the point of noticing your thoughts, it takes a bit of mindfulness. It takes some meditation probably, because if you're in it and you have a busy mind, you're in it and you think you are it. You're caught up in the stream, so you don't realize that you can step outside, sit on a rock, and watch the stream go by and notice what kind of fish are in those streams. Notice what kind of things are floating by. That is the difference with mindfulness and being just caught up in your thoughts. You have to be able to separate yourself. And it's funny because I'm talking about, being engaged and, mind, body in the same situation and then separating yourself. So that's why you practice separating yourself from the stream of thoughts, because you think that is just reality. That's just you. But you are the observer. You are the person that is able to notice, I'm having a lot of chaotic thoughts right now. I'm having a lot of negative thoughts. And 5 minutes before I was in a bad mood, I was entertaining a lot of negative thoughts. I was ruminating. Ruminating is when you just keep recycling over and over, looking at your text, recycling the conversation. What did I say wrong? And when you ruminate, you are literally building up. You're cooking up a bad mood. And if you start to notice that, that's when you start to have more choices. But until you get to that point where you notice, you're caught up in it and you're just suffering and you don't even have the idea that there's something I could do, that there's anything to fix, that there's anything to do about it. You are just suffering. And so that's the first step. And that's why I say mindfulness. First step is mindfulness. Be aware of what your thoughts are doing, of what they're doing to you, of what kind of environment they're creating in your head, and then how they affect your mood, and then how that mood affects your actions and your experience. So that's why mindfulness is first step, y'all. I do want you to check out the mindfulness or the meditation playlist I have on my channel. It says guided meditations. Just check that out. Find something that works for you. There's sleep meditations. There's body awareness. That one will be really good for you if you want to connect more with your body, the sensations that are happening in it. Being engaged, especially when you're getting intimate, staying there and not disassociating. You're going to want to have a lot more grounding and body scan meditation specifically. Those are definitely going to help you. And then doing things like physical exercise, dancing, any kind of movement that connects your mind and your body, puts them in the same place at the same time, working together. And through that kind of practice, you're going to have a lot more engagement and presence in your intimate connections. And starting from there, for growing from being engaged to it to enjoying it more. That's what I really want for you. And I know that can happen too. So thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to put some comments there. Give me any questions, especially things you want me to dive deeper into and talk more about. Just send me, an email if you want to, but questions in the comments are the best because I see those. And I'm doing this, to help you, to be helpful. So it helps me to help you when you comment and put questions and just let me know what is actually helpful and working out for you. All right. Until the next time, I'll see you guys. Also on Instagram, follow me. Green Body. So GR33N Body. The E's are threes. I had to do it. All right. So I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, lead with love.
Like, subscribe, share the growth.
If you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.